To say Ultimate Ben 10K is a dangerous man would really be an understatement, one of the many alternate realities of Ben Tension. He has perfected the ultimate function in his unique timeline. His existence in the show makes him a polarizing person to speak about in the Benton community, but one thing for sure is that he is very, very dangerous. But why firstly subscribe to the channel? If you're new and remember to like the video, we have to talk about the Master Control as one of the biggest points of Ben 10K's strength. The 30-year-old Ben Tennyson has pretty much unlocked all the secrets of the Omnitrix. The Master Control mode of the Omnitrix gives the user access to not only all aliens locked within the watch, but it also gives him the ability to stay in alien form as long as he wants, while being able to shift between them with no cool DOS necessary. And, he can shift between them mentally as well, but I don't see him do well after Aldo. It's pretty much the upper limit of what the Omnitrix can do. Along with complete mastery of the most powerful piece of TE in the universe. He also has one of the most impressive gimmicks, which is the Ultimate MO. This puts an alien onto rigorous SIMD scenario that forces combat-centric evolution, giving us aliens that can carry nuclear bombs and those that can level armies of Biosaurians. However, there is something that is very special that this Ben does, and it is how his mode of Ultimate works. He has cast the Ultimate mode on himself, becoming a sort of Vixen-like superhero. This is a unique that benefits him to an extreme level. It also reminds me of a technique of training Goku and Gohan underwent during the Saul saga in Jogon Bali. And here is where I believe that Ben has arrived on his own version of the Super Sentai theory. So, for those who have never watched Dragon Ball Z, let's break down. Hold the Super Deform was achieved, or at least in practice, what was done to get there. During this saga, the main character Goku was faced with the strongest threat up until that point and ever, adapting green android known as Cell, who had been absorbing life forms in order to gain power. Growing in leaps and bounds faster than Goku and his comrades. So in order to catch up, he had to go and train to surpass his current level of power. Now that we have all the context, let's draw some parallels. While training, he had actually been able to surpass the power of his peak form. However, for what he gained in power, he lost in a lot of functionality and efficiency, being able to crush this impending threat with strength. But sacrificing his feed to do so made his new mode absolutely useless. I believe that Pen 10K arrived on a similar pattern of thinking as considering that ALE forms would give him the necessary boost to hit a new level in power. However, each form would sacrifice a different value in efficiency and functionality. Once he does this is regardless of whatever master control and ultimate transformations he had, there would always be a drawback that would affect him in combat. I thought that Goku had during his training is that in order to go beyond the mode that they were accustomed to, that they would have to become comfortable in their peak transformation. Having the peak of the power that you have attained become a natural form of existence for you raises your ceiling for improvement. Hence, this is where Ultimate Ben was born. Being in near most comfortable while maintaining your peak has given Ben all the functionality and efficiency of his natural-born body, giving him a completely new ceiling, a completely new gear that he can tap into at a moment's notice in order to go beyond what he has already accessed. Now, of course, we can't just be giving him all of this flood. It would be very useless if we didn't give Ben a list of feats as well. Now, up until at least the episode where he returns, he has done everything that Ultimate Ali has done, going from stopping the hybrid invasion, which is a show of diplomacy, and also stopping at least 3 Vilgaxian invasions by himself. But of course we can talk about Ho. He handles Ion, but let's save that point for a little later in the video. One thing that Ben has also brushed up on in his extra 20 years of experience is his ability in hand-to-ha combat, being more reliant and just throwing hands during battle. Before he even goes into his alien modes, he is able to disarm other versions of himself with relative ease while taking on multiple at a time. He has that energy like that one old guy that says called the ambulance, but not for me, along with being gifted in hunting, combat a bus like you genius in managing in power and efficiency. He also knows magic, I mean, at this point, he's just flexing way too hard as he's been seen blocking Timer with a magical shield akin to what Gwen can do now. If we can really scale this, this Timer is aging any object that it touches to dust, including in transformations, but never Diamond, because Diamond is unbreakable. Yay. We can assume that he is able to use a catalog of Gwen's spills that she had access to in the classic timeline, which at least gives these human and Anne forms Terrakinesis, control over winds, and even the ability to form ghoul-like constructs for battle. The range this guy has is absolutely insane. Now, of course, Ben beats Ion low difficulty after being jumped in his own hope. Of course, this bay is where we get to see Ultimate Ben in action, how he deals with villains, and how they treat him as well. He gets jumped by Ion, who is the time-walking King Man lad, who has confiscated as many Ben Tennysons as he possibly could. He meets up on Ultimate Ben and addresses the uniqueness of his bow and abilities with acknowledging that he isn't someone to fight alone now. Even though he is getting jumped, he is tactical at disarming the Ben before he strikes at Ion, trying to effectively feel out his opponent without revealing all his abilities he has access to. He turns the tide with a clear and simplistic approach, using wide effect abilities to thin outer forces of Ion while expending minimal energy, which withdraws the fight down to being a 1v1 where both engage in a beam struggle. And in this era, we can see where Ultimate Men accesses that extra reserve of 4 we were talking about as he beats Ion in a time-airy battle, though I'm not sure if that's not plain enough as a high-level feat. But besides the literal Chronos Sapien Big Bad Maltrunt, Ion is the strongest time-centric villain in the Benton show. To take him on in his element really is giving Omniverses. Jogs vibes. He will literally challenge you at what you're good at and still win. So, as far as we can see that he is a master of the Omnitrix, he has access to the fullness of the ultimate mode, along with being a hand the genius and a certified magician. So we can see that this guy is an all-round combat genius who is more dangerous than what we might have initially thought. However, is he actually the true future of Ben Tennyson? Why does his future change in the first place? Click this video if you want to learn more.